2:48 Eastern, 1:48 Central. I hope everybody is doing okay, whether you're hearing this or not. We have a lot to talk about, and I literally warned you guys. I warned you on, I told you that things would get worse, right? Did I not? Yes or no? Can I, is chat enabled? Did I disable chat? Oh, okay. Okay, so I hope you guys are doing okay. I'm not doing too good, but I wanted to have this conversation with you guys. So it is now the year 2026. We are obliterating Iran. We are we've taken over practically taken over Venezuela by now. Remember I told you about the story my dad said in 2020 when he saw a military plane fly over an area where we never see military planes fly over. He said the world is never going to be the same. He told me that very specifically, even before my dad passed, which is still pissing me the hell off. Very angry about that. Very angry about it. The way that he died makes me angry. Very, very fucking angry. So I'm not happy about how he died, but it makes me very angry. It just pisses me the fuck off. Like I don't even know how to respond to it. But now going back to when I told you it was gonna get worse, yeah, I was right. And I had a good hunch. It's not that Trump is doing this to I don't know if I don't think Trump is doing this on purpose. What I think is the world seems to be falling apart. Ever since the year 2020, everything has become fast lined. Let me explain this. Let me explain. Look, somebody that suffers from anxiety all the time, I'm starting to recognize a pattern. The pattern is every year things get worse. People get more divided. And I'm not talking about just internet propaganda. I'm not talking about just politics. I'm not talking about just Democrats and Republicans anymore. I am talking about a worldwide centric. Um, there is something going on worldwide that is causing lots and lots of chaos. Before 2025 and Donald John Trump becoming president, Joseph Robinette Biden Jr. was the president. And before that, and before Trump, and the last years of Barack Hussein Obama, and even before that, the world started to change. When Bush Jr. was president, and even before into the Bill Clinton era of presidencies, I noticed something when I was a child. The world was a lot more peaceful before we had cellular technology like we do now. If anybody is here at all, if anybody is listening, can you type something in the chat, please? And if anybody is listening to this or can hear me, type it into this anything. It could be anything, A, B, C, whatever. Anyways, listen, I'm gonna continue because you're gonna get the idea of what I'm going at because I was raised in the '90s, so I'm going to explain. No, no, I didn't go. I didn't go to a funeral. Um, I my dad was cremated. All right, hi Bazing. Listen, guys. So listen, this is where I'm noticing the pattern, and yes, I do suffer from anxiety, right? And now I'm starting to genuinely believe. Now this is not DSM in the DSM Diagnostic Statistical Manual for mental illness, but listen, I am starting to genuinely believe my anxiety has gotten so bad that it has turned physical, like a physiological anxiety. Let me explain. But let me explain how this ties to what's going on now versus my panic attacks in 2012 versus the world. Hold on, let me explain. There is a lot of tension between both parties here in the United States, the Democrats and Republicans, right? There's so much violent tension. We're not talking about, oh, just casual tension. Oh, oh, there were those Republicans and lowering taxes. Oh, those Democrats and their high taxes. That was at one point. It's now literally, calling for harm, physical and psychological harm towards each party. This never happened in the United States before that. I don't remember it personally. In the 90s, everything was chill, everybody was good. There was no hyper texting or tweeting or Xing. There was no hyper Facebook posting, canceling. People weren't insulting and assaulting federal police and stuff like that back in the days. It was chill, pretty much. Yes, we did have a couple of explosions in Oklahoma City and, of course, 9/11 and 1993. A lot of people don't know what happened in 93, but the World Trade Centers had issues in 1993 with explosion, too. A lot of people don't know that. I kind of know that. I learned that a few years ago, but there was a lot more explosions, and there was also an insurance policy taken out for World Trade Center back in I think it was 2000 or 2000 early 2001. I don't remember. I think it was just a few months before uh, the attacks on the World Trade Centers. But let me just talk to you about this. Now, listen, my anxiety, right, has been through the roof because of everything that's been going on. It's it is affecting our mental health, our physiological health. It really is. I'm talking about the prices of everything, the anxiety of everything, and the division between Democrats and Republicans are so bad now that you have to worry about your safety. And I'm not joking about this if you think I am in some areas. So the problem is they are teaching an ideology within the school systems to hate our United States. That really is true. You can look it up and verify it. Some of the ideology is pretty nasty, and that's why you're seeing a lot of division now. It started in the universities, and it started with some people escaping the Nazism in Germany and Poland in the 1930s or 40s. They came and they taught the same kind of stuff that was happening in Nazi Germany at the time into, I talked about this before, into the United States. And it's slowly been building over the last 70 years. 60s, 60, yes, about 70 years, 80 years now. They've been teaching this kind of stuff, kind of in the background of some schools, some universities. They've been teaching this ideology of uh, socialism, communism, that is better than capitalism. I'm not saying capitalism is better than anything else, but I'm saying that because of a more free society that the United States lived in, and in a combination with being, I guess you could say, friendlier at one point, kind of. We have the invention of electricity, or at least with Thomas Edison and Nikola Tesla, and all these other companies back in the early 1900s. I mean, it's because, Edison with his light bulbs and, with Nikola Tesla and his, AC current, it's because of that kind of thing that helped and perpetuate us to having electricity in our houses and apartments and even DC power, so electricity technically in our vehicles. Yes, and even motorcycles. If you have a big enough motorcycle, you can get some power from it. So it's amazing. Oh, and don't get me started about boats. Very good inventions from the United States. Cellular devices, some cellular device models. The first cell phone I think was created in the United States. Main cell phone with actual cell phone connectivity, but a lot of people don't know is that we actually had cell phone. Now, this is something that a lot of people don't know. Look it up. They had wireless cell phone kind of cell phone connectivity back in the 50s, and I think in some areas in the 40s. No, I'm not joking. It was a kind of cell phone technology in the United States, and I'm not joking about this. There was a radio that they would put in the trunk of their vehicle. It was retrofitted. I don't remember if it was in the 30s, 40s, or 50s, but it was somewhere in that era. I learned about it when I was a kid. I don't know how true it is, but I know it's true a little bit. They literally had a type of cell phone connectivity, or not really cell phone, but a way to talk. I think back in the 30s or 40s or 50s or 60s or something like that. But they had a technology to talk, um, or relay information or something like that from a vehicle. So it was really advanced back then. But yes, they did have it. Now, the anxiety that you're feeling and the depression that you are feeling is because the world is becoming too violent. We're going into a phase, and like I said, this happens about every 200 years or so, right? So the United States is about 250 years old, right? So about every 200 years or a little bit longer, sometimes 400 years, dynasties fall. So, technically speaking, right? Iran has fallen. Technically speaking, has been, the leader has been taken out. So, technically speaking, that is considered a dynasty fall or a fall of a society. So, like I said, this happens about every 200 years. Multiple countries, multiple areas of the world, they get killed or they get taken over, and the dynasty continues. The American dynasty so far is doing very well. A lot of, but the division could put us in jeopardy when I'm gone and dead, many years from now. Um, and when you guys are all gone and dead in 100 years from now, it could turn very bad for the United States unless we create a very secure, highly intelligent, and I hate to say this, but it's the truth because all the other countries are going to do it. A very intelligence on hackable artificial intelligence to protect the United States of America and whatever we control in the future. I'm sorry, but we really are going like Skynet, and it is going to happen eventually. Because if we didn't, somebody would create an artificial intelligence to hack into our subsystems and destroy our electricity, infrastructure, water, you name it. They could F it up with the proper and smart enough AI systems. So yes, there will be AI in the future. It's unfortunate, but that's the natural progression of our human race. Now, the anxiety part that we're experiencing right now, the anxiety that we're experiencing. Okay, let me explain. One, there's too many signals going through the there's too many signals right now. They say they don't bother us, but I don't know about that 100%. Listen, we got brains that are made of water, so I don't really know genuinely. Okay, I don't know how much of these radio waves that are coming through 5G cell phone towers and cellular, too much data, too much speed, millimeter waves, mid band, low band. I don't know if any of those are actually affecting us at some point, especially if you're near a tower or if you have 5 bars on your phone. I do not know how much that is actually affecting us. But truthfully and behold, we have digital TV signals coming through the air. We have cellular signals coming through the air. We have a satellite signal coming through the air at gigahertz. I think it's like 2.7 gigahertz. I don't remember 27 gigahertz or something stupid like that, right? But it's still affecting us. So we have all these new signals bouncing through the earth from human-made transmission, and I do not know if those are affecting us. They'll say no, it's not, but that's all. We don't know. We just don't know how sensitive we are to. Oh, also the power lines. Power lines are 220 volt or higher. I don't know how powerful the power lines are, but if you live close to a massive sets of power lines, like the ones that you'll see in the middle of like farmland, or if you'll see them in the middle between mountains or whatever, those are carrying so much electricity. When you get near them, they literally create an electrical field. So I do not know the psych effects of high transmission lines. I do not know. Okay, I just don't know. Or a very high powerful cellular tower, of what kind of gigahertz, megahertz, if it's affecting us as humans. But it is affecting us. I know it has to be affecting us at least a little bit. And the reason I say this is because when I am underground, for some weird reason, when I'm underground, and if I'm traveling in a tunnel or a train underground, I start feeling better when I'm underground. No, I'm not joking. This isn't psychological. I have been testing this with my heart rate with the Apple Watch. I've been testing this. Now, listen, hear me out. When there is no cellular signal, my heart rate drops about 5 beats per minute on average. I've been testing this over months. When I take and go underground, or if I go through the Holland Tunnel with the train, or whatever the hell they call it, or the tube, or the train goes to New York City, whatever. Um, I'm noticing that when I'm underground or in a train station, I actually feel better than when I get up to the surface, whether it's day or night in the New York City metro area, or going into the west part of or Amtrak to go to Washington D.C. Or I'm noticing there's certain spots. If I go out in the middle of the country and I make a video for YouTube, I notice that I start feeling better the more remote I get. So it's weird. Like if I physiologically go to a remote area, like I sometimes you've seen me do it in my remote videos, I'll go to this like random area in the Sequoia National Forest in like 2013 or 12 or 11. I don't remember what year. I know it's there in my YouTube history there somewhere. I felt great, normal, completely calm, no cell phone signal, top of Pikes Peak. Felt really good up there. Of course, there's some cell phone signal, very weak. But I felt good mentally, emotionally. But when you live in a very densely packed area of the country, it's you're getting bombarded by all these the Wi-Fi signals, the cellular signals. It cannot be healthy in general. Now, if this was 20 years ago, not a problem. 2000 what? 2005. 2000. This was 20 years ago. 2001? No, wait, hold on. 2006? You can't tell me 2006 was 20 years ago. Please don't tell me. No, 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 no. 20, 2000. Hold on. 2004? That's 20 years ago? I hope not. Yeah. 2005, 2015, 2025. That's 20 years. Oh my God. 2026. Oh my God. Well, whatever. 20 plus years, right? So at the end of the day, we're living in a very connected society. We have all these Wi-Fi mesh routers, Wi-Fi routers pushing out 5 and 2.5 gigahertz. I don't know if it affects humans. I do not know if it physically does. But then we have all this other stuff. Whatever's going on with all of us, guys, and whatever's going on in this world, but people are becoming more angrier and angrier and angrier and more violent and more hesitant and more, skittish and even paranoid in some cases. Some people become paranoid. I don't know why. And it's not because of schizophrenia. But there is a lot of shit going on. And guys, we really, 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 really have to cut off from the internet. Listen, if you are seeing this, if you are hearing this, I really recommend you turn your blue filter on your phone and cut down on watching TikTok doom scrolling. Do not do it. I've been trying to cut myself down. I've been doing pretty good at it. Um, Try to search up funny videos on TikTok. Try not to let the For You page turn it into a about the situation with Iran. It's important, but Just try to watch some better videos. Also, there's a movie coming out. It's called Scary Movie 6. I don't know when that one's going to be released, but it looks like it's going to be a normal, actual video without censorship. And so it's probably going to be offensive to a lot of people, but I'm going to be laughing my ass off in general because I grew up in a time when people made funny shit and it would make me laugh my ass off. And I want to see a funny movie, a regular funny movie, and hopefully that comes back because we need humor. But I just wish, I genuinely wish our Democrats and our Republicans will get along with each other again. Because if we unite, we're the most powerful. United, the United States is so powerful, it's atrocious. So we really, really, really need to weed out corrupted people in this country. Not just me, but I'm talking about the whole world needs to weed out its corruption. Every country needs to start weeding out its corruption somehow. If we can get corrupted people out of office, this world will be a lot calmer. Let me tell you that. And also, we need to change some laws on anxiety. Um, in my opinion, anxiety disorder that's chronic, more than 10 years, it needs to be diagnosed not as a mental condition anymore. Anxiety needs to be diagnosed officially. Panic disorder, PTSD, especially PTSD. My opinion, panic and anxiety disorder that is chronic, generalized anxiety, panic disorder should be diagnosed as an actual medical condition, a physiological medical condition that needs to be treated aggressively with benzodiazepines. And in my opinion, if you are diagnosed officially with a real chronic anxiety disorder with multiple ER visits, etc., and multiple hospital visits and doctor visits about it, and antidepressants aren't working, they need to be aggressively treated with benzodiazepines. Let that person live their life. We need to change Ativan, Valium, Klonopin. Um, we need to have, okay. So here's what needs to happen. We need to change the Klonopin, the Ativan, the Valium, and the Xanax from a Schedule 4 substance to a Schedule 5 substance, meaning we need to loosen the restrictions a little bit. And we need to have preparations for withdrawal from benzodiazepines. There needs to be better support and less biases in hospitals, clinics, and doctors' offices. Not more biases, less biases for the people that suffer from anxiety across this world. But for the United States, we need a Class 5. We need it to be a Schedule 5 substance, not a Schedule 4. Okay, we need a little bit less restrictions on benzodiazepines, and stop arresting people for prescribing them. Because you can get off of Xanax and Ativan. It just takes a while, but it doesn't take forever. Maybe a couple years if you've been on it for more than 20 years, like I have. Chronic, benzodiazepine usage. Yeah, it's like alcohol withdrawal. It could kill you, and that's why we don't just suddenly stop taking them. But anxiety, it needs to be treated as a medical condition. It is not mental. I do not think it's mental at this point. I really genuinely do not believe. I think it's a function of the brain that's misfiring. It's like a soft version of seizures because your heart rate's flying, you're flush, you're dizzy, you're lightheaded, you're spinny. My opinion, benzodiazepines need to be treated as a Class 5 substance. Anxiety and panic disorder needs to be immediately classified as a medical disorder and treated aggressively with benzodiazepines in a combination maybe with some antidepressants if you feel good taking them. But yes, we need to stop this bullshit of, oh, it's just a panic attack. Here's some Vistrol. Oh, it's just a panic attack. Here's some Benadryl. Oh, it's just a panic attack. Just deep breathe into this bag. No, that's not how this works. It's time to classify it as a Class 5 substance. It is time to stop arresting every single doctor that prescribes benzodiazepines with, normal usage of the benzodiazepine to begin with, okay? It's time It's time that we classify anxiety, panic disorder, and PTSD as a medical disorder. Remember, this shit has been affecting me since 2005. This is not just mental anymore. It is a lifelong chronic illness. It is beyond mental illness. I'm telling you, it's a physiological problem with the brain somehow. It is misfiring, it's taking things out of proportion, and it's turning the fight or flight response on, causing the panic attack or anxiety attack. We need to classify this as a medical problem that is not fixable, really. It isn't. It's not fixable unless you go to a zero stimulus environment where there's like nothing going on. You're perfect. Unless you have like lots of money, a calm house, and you don't have any tensions with war or viruses or whatever, and we're not fighting with a party system here in the United States of America, well, then your anxiety level would probably go down like 50%. Oh, and you can afford rent, housing, etc. Then your anxiety baseline would go down like 40-50%. We need to diagnose anxiety, PTSD, and panic disorder, and moderate to severe agoraphobia as a medical disorder, not a mental disorder. It may come from the brain. You may physically not see it, but man, it is as disruptive as having real medical issues at the time of the attack, or if you have chronic anxiety disorder. That's my opinion. My conclusion, guys, if we do not come together with Democrats and Republicans and we come back together, if we don't do this in the next, I'm going to give it like 20 years, if we don't come back and if there's not some normality, we're going to be very rough by the year 2045. I mean, we are going to be in a really rough condition. We'll be advanced, but all the surveillance and the drones will probably be flying all over the skies by 2050. But at the same time, guys, this shit sucks. Okay, I thought we were going. Like I said, I thought back in 2000, I would say 2006 or five, I was thinking about the future of our civilization, and I could have sworn, just like in the movie, Back to the Future, we were gonna have flying cars by 2020, and unfortunately, we just had very fast cell phones, 4K video recording, and now everybody records everything that happens all the time. You're in your car, they're recording you. Somebody gets into a mild crash, they're recording you. Just no freedom, no peace when it comes to that kind of stuff anymore. It's just pure, unadulterated, consistent debauchery. It's just constant annoyance, and we need to chill. We really do as a country. We really need to chill. And they need to stop teaching this stuff in universities. They really got to stop doing that because it's really hurting a lot of people. Republicans and Democrats used to get along with each other pretty well. So this sucks really bad. I mean, the 90s Democrats and Republicans were chill. It doesn't matter which state you were in, you was pretty chill. I mean, homelessness was still a thing, but it wasn't as extreme as it is now. I mean, yes, Brooklyn, Queens was very, in Yonkers, parts of Yonkers and Brooklyn and Queens, it was very rough in the Northeast back in the 90s and 80s. I know that for a damn fact. That's why they made the movie Escape from New York. They didn't just make that because they were like, let's, how many times can we destroy New York in 30 years? No. Escape from LA, they didn't make those movies because it was a joke. They made those movies because of a lot of rough. It was very rough in the 90s in those areas, but then, you go to other places in the United States and it was very chill. I mean, look in the 50s and 40s. Detroit, Michigan was doing pretty good before they took all of the jobs and moved them overseas. That should have never happened, by the way. That was a big mistake. But yeah, um, that's just an update. What's happening in Iran and what's happening to us is absolutely insane to think about. I feel really, really bad for the Iranian people. They really have been under dictatorship for so many years. It's atrocious. All the killings, all the innocent deaths over the years of the Iranian people. all the Palestinian people too. You know, they just not good for them. And what happened on October 7th was terrible for the Jewish people too. So there's a lot of fighting going on. There's a lot of revenge taking place. That's exactly what's happening with Israel. And you know what? I'm gonna say it. Maybe Israel controls the world. I don't know. That's not my business. I'm not that powerful, but Israel has a lot of power. Let me explain why Israel might have a lot of power. A lot of people don't know this. Maybe they're not into religion, but we have some of the holiest places on earth in Jerusalem, in Israel. Let me explain. We have one of the most holiest places in the Arabic world is in Jerusalem. In the Jewish tradition, in the whole wide world, is also one of the most religious symbols in whole of the world. And in Israel also is the church that is the birthplace of Jesus Christ. Yeah, so there's that. So religious wise, Christians and Catholics, view Israel as the holiest place in the world, and almost 100% of Muslims believe that Jerusalem, especially where their thing, I don't know what it's called. I'm not a professional with Islam, but it's one of the holiest places on planet Earth too. And so is the Jewish. It's all around in that area, Jerusalem and the surrounding areas, where mainly this is the most Christian thing in the world, the most Jewish thing in the world, and the most Islam thing in the world. I call it the big three. And so that's why there's always a lot of fighting over this country of Israel and Palestine and stuff like that, and the Gaza Strip. It's all for that area. A lot of people don't know this, but it's a religious war for eons, and they really want that land, and Israel refuses to give it up, and they're not going to give it up, not without a fight. And then that is the reason why, um, you know, usually you don't see a lot of attacks in Jerusalem itself. It happens, but it's rare. All three, all three religions know not to attack Jerusalem. That would be the word. That would be more insultive to the Arabics, to the Christians, and to the Jewish people more than anything else in the whole wide world. And that's the reason why Israel is perceived to be the most powerful country on earth. And it kind of technically is because of the birthplace of Jesus Christ, and also, you know, where one of the most powerful and holiest places for people of Muslim faith, and then also the most powerful place for Jewish faith. So it's a protected place. That's why the United States is so aggressive on protecting Israel, and it's not just because of where Israel sits or their intelligence. It is because it is one of the holiest places of all religions on planet Earth. That's the reason why it is protected so heavily by the United States. Is because at one point the United States was a mainly Christian country. So, what is the most holiest place in the world? Jerusalem and the area surrounding Jerusalem. So, the United States has an obligation to protect it, kind of, indirectly, informally. You can't just, move the place of Jesus Christ where, Jesus Christ was born and just kind of just casually move it to the United States. You can't do it because that's not where the scripture says it was. So that's the reason. And by the way, I don't know if you guys know this. A lot of people don't seem to know this either, but Catholicism, Christianity, Islam, and Judaism are almost all the similar. I think Islam and Christianity is almost the same God that they believe in. It's a little bit different, or Judaism, I think it is. Now, I'm not 100% sure about Islam. The Prophet Muhammad versus versus God and Jesus Christ. So I don't know how that works with Islam, but I do know that the religions are very similar in some ways than others. If you look at the Quran,
And if you look at the Bible, they are kind of similar. So, but slightly different beliefs have caused many holy wars over the last 20,000 years, I would say. Well, maybe not 20,000 years, maybe the last 5 to 10,000 years max. I mean, there's been a lot of holy wars. So, yeah, that's what happened. So, a lot of people on the internet think that, Israel controls the world. They kind of do in a way because, like I said, you know, no offense to them, it's just they kind of control the world because they have the religious power of, pretty much the Vatican. I mean, because like I said, it's the holiest spot on planet Earth. And so that's why it's so heavily protected. That's why Israel is protected, even though some people give Israel a lot of hatred. They have no idea that it's literally the holiest place for all three religions, major religions of the world. So that's the reason why Israel is protected so well, and that's why Israel is very, very, and they get threats from Iran all the time, by the way, and they also get missiles thrown at them all the time from Iran, even when Israel hasn't done nothing. Too, in some years, Israel didn't even do anything, and Iran threw their missiles at them. So right now literally in a utopia or dystopian world. We're living in a dystopian society at the moment. Just try, like I said, not too much screen time. Also, try to watch some older movies and enjoy the older movies. Go watch The Fifth Element. Um, Go watch Spaceballs. It's really funny and stupid. Go watch the original Star Wars movies. The Shining. That's a good movie. Go watch that one with Jack Nicholson. Very good movie. Very good. Go watch some Stephen King novels. He pisses me off on the X platform, but he makes really good movies. Um, but like I said, just go watch it. Stephen King and stuff like that makes really good movies, especially Stephen King's It. That was pretty good. Anything with Stanley Kubrick or two, go watch those movies and enjoy. Enjoy what the 70s, 80s, and 90s had to offer. Go watch some 90 cartoons. If you are not from the 90s and you're a younger person, I'm gonna recommend you go watch Courage the Cowardly Dog. A Dexter's Laboratory. Mm, the Rugrats. Hey Arnold. I'm thinking as hard as I can. Angry Beavers. Oh my God, you need to go watch Johnny Bravo. Watch him. Watch the Angry Beavers. Let me think of anybody else. Real Monsters. Yeah, go watch that. It's stupid. And then let me think. Oh, go watch The Fresh Prince of Bel Air. It's a stupid comedy. It's funny. Go watch The Prince of Bel Air. It's funny. And then also, this was very misogynistic for its day, but go watch Married with Children. That is a funny show and it's stupid. Married with Children is one of the most stupid shows they ever released. Let me tell you. But it was funny. And Joanne or yeah, Joanne, whatever I forgot her name is already. But yeah, go watch her too. And go watch Are You Afraid of the Dark? Yes, I said it. And Goosebumps, the show, the movie, the shows. Go watch the shows of Goosebumps. And I recommend Are You Afraid of the Dark? They used to show that on Nickelodeon, by the way, back in the day. That shit's scary as shit for a kid, let me tell you. I can't think of anything else. Let me think. Toonami, and then what other shows? Oh, Vegeta. Damn, it's been so many years since I've been watching cartoons. Adult Swim. If you can go look at old shows of Adult Swim, you would enjoy them very much. I also recommend a YouTube creator. Go watch uh, Cyriac or Cryak or whatever his name is. Cryak. He makes amazing visuals you would never expect. Old YouTuber, been with the platform since 2000, practically 2005, I would assume. Go watch that. And for games, I'm gonna recommend Dead Space, Dead Space 2, Dead Space 3, Outlast, Outlast 2, very scary. Fear, Fear, F.E.R, Fear, Fear. So, Fear, reconnaissance missions, absolutely horrifying game. Very good for its time. Oh, and play Halo 1, 2, 3, and 4. And don't play. You don't have to play ODST, but play Halo and play it on a PC, and it's so much fun. I did not think I would like the Halo series, but their games are so futuristic for the time, especially with the remastered Chief Collection. Highly recommend playing the Halo games. It's just so much fun. It's different. I did not expect Halo to actually be fun. At first, I didn't like the first one. I played it. It was actually very futuristic for its time. Um, but the ending, I don't know. It just really pisses me off. The ending of the Halo series really pissed me off. But it was the whole game setup was really good. It was kind of like Doom, the Doom like Eternal Doom 2016. It's kind of like those games, very futuristic looking graphics for the time, futuristic corridors, etc. Very futuristic for its time, very futuristic. And messing with the banshees and messing with the, it was just so much fun. I don't know how to say it. The warthogs, very fun games. You guys gotta check it out. What's another one? Oh God, it's been so. Resident Evil 7 Biohazard, like I said, Outlast 2, Devil May Cry. You need to play that. Um, The Evil Within, very good, very scary, but very good. Resident Evil Village, that game is fucked, by the way. Silent Hill, definitely recommend. Anybody else? Silence of the Lambs is pretty good. Anybody else? Oh, War Games. That one's an interesting AI computer type simulation for the 1980s. Go look at War Games. It's actually pretty good for the 80s. I'm trying to give you guys to go look at some old retro stuff and some older games like Dead Space, Dead Space 2, Dead Space 3. Yeah, I mean that's really what I could. Oh, Crisis is always fun. Crisis 1, Crisis 2, Crisis 3. Very fun games. You can get them. You can get them in a bundle for cheap these days. Very good graphics for its days. Very excellent graphics for its days. Alien Isolation is another one. Highly recommend it. But anyways, guys, I'm gonna let you go. I just gave you some recommendations. Hope you take them, okay? Because yesterday's games are still better than today's games. Now there is a game that's coming out I want so badly, but it's called Control. Control. Control 2019 or 18. I think it was 2019. That game. I love games like that where you're just kind of by yourself and you're going through federal building. Yeah, that's weird. Now, the second one's going to be way more interesting with the hiss. So I recommend you go look at the trailer. Go look up search the trailer for Control 2019 trailer official on YouTube. You'll see what I'm talking about. It's very weird. You're in a federal building like a normal, I don't know, like if we were like FBI or whatever. And then it just turns into this weird ass world. I do not know how to explain it. Very cool, very futuristic. And play some Resident Evil games. They're so much fun. And go watch Resident Evil. And there's one movie that a lot of you guys are not going to know, but it was very scary when it was made. There's a very scary movie, and I think it probably has some of the most scarier visuals than most horror movies of the 90s or early 2000s. 13 Ghosts. That movie is absolutely fucked up, by the way. 13 Ghosts is a very scary fucking movie. I mean, it really is. The visuals are very realistic, and the blood does look very real. So I don't know. Go look up 13 Ghosts. That's a fucked up. I'm sorry to say it, but that little, you know, that little movie is really fucked up. I mean, that movie is fucked up. 13 Ghosts is a fucked up movie. I do not know how to explain it. It's cultish. I don't really like it too much, but go look it up. It's very cultish, but very scary. That's a very scary movie. It's really fucked up. Probably one of the better horror movies, underrated. A lot of people don't know about 13 Ghosts. And The Glass House. Go look up The Glass House. That's another scary movie. At least I think it is. Anyways, guys, just go look up the old shit. I'm telling you, it's better than the new stuff that's come out. You'll enjoy it, and your computer can run these games because, well, you might have modern hardware, and these older games they don't take as much. You don't need as much GPU power to run them. Thank you guys for watching, and hope you had a good day. And let's see what happens with Iran or Cuba.